Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Seeing a lot of signs. What does that mean? What does it mean? What does it mean when I see a bunch of signs? And this came from a question and a comment, which is one of the reasons, by the way, I'm going to plug this right up front, why I love comments, and I love when you guys actually put show ideas in there, because I do go through them. I try to respond to as many comments as I can, frankly, but there's just, when you break it down into numbers, it's just a lot, right? So I do the best I can, but I read all of them. So if you put in some great show topics and great show ideas, they typically will spin into shows, without a doubt. And I usually don't bring up the people's names as a rule. Some of you want to get plugged, some of you don't, but they're comments. You can go read them. You should read the comments if you're someone that doesn't, because there's a lot of good questions and people asking stuff and all sorts of interesting things out there. But that being said, what does a sign actually mean, right? Things are happening. So kind of the way the person phrased it, I like it because I think it speaks to a few different angles on it, and it really gets the conversation ball rolling, if you will. It gets us talking about it, gets us thinking about from the perspective of how a lot of us, I think, rationalize the signs that are coming to us, and how so many of us are trying to make sense of them. So that's kind of what this whole show is going to be about. So the questions: seeing a lot of repeating number patterns like 1111, 444, 333. And I'm having synchronicity so often, like you talk about something, and that it shows up a few minutes later. Do these things mean that you are close to getting what you want, or does it mean that you are not close, but your vibration is good, or is in a good place to attract what you want? Or is it an awkward question? Does it mean your manifestation is almost here, or does it mean that you just fixed your vibes and you have a long way to go? So there's a lot of questions that many of us try to rationalize around the sign, right? We've been doing all this imaginal work. Suddenly we're seeing our SP's names on license plates. We're seeing billboards with their names. We're seeing maybe restaurants that are special to us that just pop up out of the blue, or you'll be thumbing through a magazine and you'll fall on an advertisement for that restaurant, and bam, you're like, what? What's going on with this? Agnes and I recently talked about this. For those of you who don't know who Agnes is, her and I do shows together frequently. Agnes Vivarelli, she's extremely popular, and I'm saying a large portion of my audience is probably friends of hers too. But Agnes and I recently talked about this, and certainly something that I've talked about before, and her and I are in absolute agreement on this, and I think Neville Goddard speaks to it pretty heavily as well. The signs don't indicate what's coming. The signs indicate what you've been doing. That's the difference. Right off the bat, that's the difference. Now, a lot of people think they're happening prior to, like they're a premonition, like there's something that's showing me what's coming. No. Signs come because you've done the efforts, and it's the universe showing you, yes, this is what's happening. This is what you're creating. This is what's occurring. So we create contrasts and we create signs, basically, that show us indications that are going the direction we want. Contrast, obviously, is showing us something that's a different direction than what we want. And again, I've said before, contrasts are great because they offer you that, oh, no, I definitely don't want that. So this is what I'm going to keep focusing on, the good thing over here, not that. Yeah. Right? But it does kind of get us thinking the chicken before the egg, right? That whole thing. And really the reality is when these indications occur, they're showing you, yes, you're on track. It's happening. Things are moving in that direction. A lot of times people will ask, well, why did my signs stop? Signs can stop for a number of reasons. Sometimes, one, the sign's not necessary anymore. Again, I've said before, there's definitely a soul component. There's an evolution component to what we're here experiencing on Earth. And sometimes in the law of attraction world, I mean, I still see signs frequently about stuff, but it's weird is they don't one, impress me as much as they used to. They used to be like, oh my God, that's awesome. Now it's like, well, yeah, of course. I was just laughing the other day. I'm like, really, because I talk about it so much, getting through all these traffic signals and they're green. They just time out perfectly. I'm starting to pull up to it and the red light's like turning green. And I'm like, I don't even think I had to hit my brakes that time. Like, and there's times when I need to stop and I laugh, like it happened this morning even, and I've talked about this before, getting timings and stuff, getting off topic, but doesn't matter. Went down to leave and I'm like, I went to start the car and the little red light comes on, which basically means, yeah, dude, you don't have your key. I had to walk upstairs, get the key, walk back downstairs. Then I took off, and I'm like, well, it puts me in perfect timing. And it did, actually. It worked out really well. The second I was walking up, a certain person hopped out of the car, and it was just perfect timing. So it was cool. It was fun to start the day off that way. So signs come because of what we're doing, the efforts that we're been going through, okay? So again, it could show up as someone's initials. It can show up as a picture of them. It can show up as maybe a reminder post, right? It's one of those things like I haven't been on Facebook in a long time because I hate it. And I get these little reminders, and they keep trying to figure out ways to get me to actually get back into that silly application. But I haven't logged in months, and I'm proud of myself for it. It's awesome. But I see the little indications every once in a while. Something cool happens. I'm like, oh, there you go, whatever. Certainly if anyone posts on my thing, which hardly ever happens. So it's a beautiful thing. But you will see things pop up in your life that will be those indications that what you've been focusing on is what you're experiencing now. As I've said frequently, what you think about today becomes your tomorrow, right? Now, yeah, it could become your an hour from now. It could become your 4 hours from now. It could be a week from now. But essentially, what you focus on right this second, right now, becomes your later. Now and later. It's good candies, by the way. So we have to understand that is how we create our experiences. So when you're experiencing other things also mixed in there, well, understand that you're probably experiencing other focuses also. People say, which one wins out? If I'm focusing on being with my SP 50% of the time, and I'm focused on being my SP never accepting me 50% of the time. Like, yeah, I'm scared. She's never going to like me. She's never going to love me. And then 50% of the time, I'm like, she totally loves me. We're perfect for each other. People ask, which one wins? Nah, you manifest both. You manifest what you focus on. It's not that one focus and the other focus are neck and neck and competing with each other. No, you'll manifest them both. That's why we always talk about the us pushed out thing. If I'm thinking about how so-and-so is going to cheat on me, you're putting energy towards that. That person may never have cheated on you, but because you keep putting that energy and you keep asking them questions, it creates this, it activates that component inside of them and then actually makes it happen. And so suddenly they have cheated and you're like, see, I told you. And they're like, this was never going to happen. But it did. We do it. That's us pushed out for sure. It's not that you're controlling them. It's not that you are them. It's that you have affected them. You are projecting onto them and they're reflecting back all of the stuff we're sending to them back on us, right? So they might not be cheating. I'm just using this example because it's a great one. They might not be cheating on us, but we think they are. We keep thinking about they are. And every time we seem to log on to their page or their Snapchat or something, happens to be an interesting picture where there's always this one guy in the background, right? You ever notice that? Every time she's there and she's with her girlfriend, there's always this same dude, and he's always like looking, I bet they're together, right? Like we start building crazy things and creating these outcomes because of what we focus on. What we focus on is what we create. When we get signs, it's because of what we focused on prior. Now, what does the sign mean? Really nothing. Signs are indications of what you're moving towards. They mean what we decide they mean. The sign in and of itself is just indication that that's something that you're activating, that's something you're focusing on. So it's going to hit you in different ways that'll catch your attention and it'll make sense to you. But it won't necessarily be any huge, like shooting a giant bright light up to the sky or what, it's nothing like that. The bat signal, I don't know, whatever. It's nothing quite like that. A lot of the experiences that we end up having, a lot of the things that occur to us are happening because of what we're focusing on. And these indications, these indicators mean only that this is something that you've been focusing on. You can ask for indications like, I want to see a red butterfly, and that's going to indicate this. And you might not see a red butterfly, or you might see a yellow butterfly that has a stripe of red on it. And then you're like, well, what does that mean? Again, we're asking for really weird, arbitrary things. And Anyas and I both frequently kind of remind people it's not the sign that matters. The sign's not what you're after. What you're after is the thing you're manifesting. And in focusing on that thing you're manifesting right now, creating a better tomorrow with that thing you're manifesting with you, by focusing on that, you will create signs along the way. The signs just indicate that your thoughts have been in that direction. If you're seeing other things happen in your life that you would consider negative signs, for example, that indicates your thoughts have been in the wrong place. That's what that offers for you. You can say whatever you want. You can say, I am doing it perfectly, blah, 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 but this keeps happening. Well, then you're not doing it perfectly. I promise you, you're not doing it perfectly because that keeps happening to you. That would only be happening to you if that was somehow activated in your energy and you gave it focus. I've seen all sorts of crazy things leave my life by no longer focusing on it. Things that still exist. They're all around me. They exist all around me, but I don't experience them because I don't focus on them anymore. I don't even talk about them, and I'm not going to on my show to give examples. Well, give me an example, Dan. No, because if I talk about it, then I'm activating it. Then I'm focusing on it. If I don't, I'm not. So the signs don't mean anything other than, hey, yeah, you've been thinking about this. Beep. It's an indication of what you've been focusing on. That's what it means. And if for some reason it has some sort of extra spark that comes with it, that's cool. That's a soul level thing. I've seen thought transmissions manifest into a cool little moment where you just remember each other, and it's a powerful experience because you'll get chills and stuff. You'll have tears. Like, there's things that can happen. So I'm not trying to say that signs aren't significant. Signs are definitely, to me, are significant. I think they're cool. I mean, like I said, some of them I don't go, oh, wow, that's neat. I saw a butterfly. Like, no. But like when I saw a shooting star not long ago as I was walking in and it was slowly moving across the sky, it was probably only one other time in my life have I seen one that literally I could span my arms as wide as I could span them. That's how long it looked in the sky. Like, it was huge. Beautiful. That was awesome. Like, I was like, oh my God. I was like trying to tell people about it the whole day. I was like, oh my God, it's the most amazing thing today. So, yeah, they're cool. They're awesome. They're not to be like, oh, I just got a sign. It's not like that at all. Signs are indications of where your mind has been, what you have been focusing on. They're just answers to those questions. And if you are getting enough of the signs you like, and they seem to indicate the direction you'd like to go, then keep doing what you're doing. If they don't, if you're not experiencing what you'd like, if you keep noticing that things aren't happening the way you would like them to, things keep popping up that shouldn't, look at your thoughts. Look at your focus. Look there, because that's where you'll find your answer. That's why that's happening. So what most coaches that are worth any of their salt, usually just trying to get to the bottom of what practices, what habits are you doing. Try to get you relaxed enough so you'll show them. Because so many people are like, well, I'm going to talk perfect. I'm talking to the coach right now. I'm going to say everything exactly the way it should. And what you do is you get them in this is what I do. You get them in casual conversation and let them just start talking about things. And you very quickly start to get the things start popping up. Bump, 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 bump. And it's like, all right, now I know what's up. So there's always something to the experience reflecting what I was doing yesterday. If the experience I'm having right now is sucky, look at what you were doing yesterday. And if you can't make the comparison, try to start being more mindful of what you're doing when you're doing things, what you're thinking about, what you're focusing on. You see a stop sign, and for some reason it makes you think of your SP, and then you catch yourself thinking horrible sorrow, like, oh, I'm so sad I ever did anything. I wish they wouldn't be mad at me. Catch yourself when you're having those thoughts. Don't get mad at yourself, but realize, oh my God, I've still got all this unresolved frustration. I need to do some self-love. I need to do some forgiveness stuff. The astral letters I've talked about frequently. Now you've identified the issue. You've identified what keeps surfacing. Now you can help it, and that makes the negative thing go away rather than trying so hard to avoid being negative, which so many do. Don't avoid something. If you avoid it, I guarantee you'll hit it. Whatever you're avoiding, you will see more of. What you do is you focus on what you would like to experience. I don't want to experience more of this, that, or the other thing. What I'd like to experience is going in this direction. And as I've said in other shows recently, it's not an issue of Like, I don't want him to, like my SP, I wish they were in my life, right? Like, is what I'm wanting. But what a lot of people say is, I wish they weren't still far away. I wish they weren't still distant. I wish they would forgive me. I wish, like, all of those things kind of imply, like, that I still am focusing on the fact that we're apart, we're negative, we're against it. Like, and that's what I create more of. So instead of looking at it from that angle, look at it from I'd really like to be with him. I'm looking forward to us going on trips together. I'm looking forward to us having kids together. I'm looking forward to pulling into our house and seeing the children's toys in the garage and seeing, your knickknacks over on the counter or your tools or whatever the hell you're into, right? Like, see what you'd like to experience. Stop trying to negate what you don't want to experience. Like, I don't want any more of that. That's how I'll manifest what I want, by not getting more of that. You're going to keep getting the crap you've been getting. What do you want? Focus on that. Make that your focus. Watch the signs and symbols start coming in around that and realize, nice, it's working. And that's it. Because that is yours. It's coming, whatever. Cake's in the oven, right? Whatever. Dinner's coming. It's coming. There's your indications of it. Don't know when. I don't know. It depends. A lot of factors come into play. It'll get here when it gets here. But it's getting here. Let it go. Be happy with it, because at that point, it's yours. And you can start focusing on other things you'd like to experience. Or if it's a relationship with someone and you enjoy living in the end, as I've said before, come up with another scene in your movie. Like, I keep focusing on our wedding day. Yeah, okay. Well, how about your honeymoon? Focus on where you're going to go for your honeymoon. Start to imagine that trip. Start to imagine the different places. If you're going to go to Venice, Italy, then start to imagine maybe that canal ride and how romantic it is. Start getting pictures of that, because that still implies you guys are together, but it allows you to step the story further and live in the end, rather than reliving the same image over and over and over and thinking, I'm manifesting them. Well, nah, you're manifesting a situation. You'll actually manifest a time where you guys are face to face and this thing's happening, what you thought about, but it didn't turn into a relationship. So add some scenes to your movie. Again, as you add more stuff to it, the indications will show, the signs will show what you've been focused on. They don't mean anything other than, hey, good. What you've been focusing on, here's some indications. That's what you're bringing towards you. Little breadcrumbs, little blinking lights, little fireflies in the distance, if you will. All those things. I just had a funny feeling. To people out there, fireflies is a sign. I just said it for you. Thank you. You're welcome. I meant to. You guys, you guys wanted me to, so there you go. Anyways, this has been a long video, but hopefully a good one. Signs, symbols, all that stuff. They're good. They're great. Understand where they come from. They're not coming before the event. They're coming after the thoughts. Always. You focus creates now. Focus yesterday creates your now, right? Your focus now creates your tomorrow. The signs I get tomorrow are not showing me what's happening the day after tomorrow. No, the signs tomorrow are showing me what I was thinking about today. Hopefully that helps. Stay on RadioStyle. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Click the little picture of my face. Like, thumbs up, comment, share, all that stuff. I think that's about it. All those good things. And if you like helping my channel anyways, those are great ways to do that. So thank you very much for all that. More shows coming. Please leave different show topics in the comments if you so desire. That always helps as well. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much. Stay on RadioStyle.